kind of having evaluation as a topic, Cindy called me the other day and said, I have a favor. She keeps calling and asking these favors. I got to say no sometime. So she asked me if I would do an evaluation more based on humor rather than the men. And I didn't even tell John I was going to do this. So I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to do? Because I think she's right. We're not evaluating on humor. We're really not trying to help ourselves that much, even though we've had many speeches about it. So I started with a little outline that I created. And I'm copywriting it, so don't steal it. You can use it, but don't steal it. And here was my first point. Does the speaker look like they're enjoying themselves or having a good time? Because I think that's the first start of it. Because if you're really tight, the audience isn't going to be tight. If you're loose, lots of things you say end up making them laugh from that standpoint. So then I divided it into 3 different sections that I have here. One is delivery, content, and audience. So under delivery, the first thing I have here is, did they get small? And what I mean by get small is many times when people are going to go tell a joke, they get tense right at the end, and they pull back on that punchline. And that's exactly the wrong thing to do. You should be punching the punchline. So whenever you're watching for that, look at yourself and look at others. Do they punch that, or do they draw back at that particular point? Are they getting what I call getting small, or are they being bold for that? The second thing, do they step on their laughs? If you watch professional comedians, they don't do this. But you'll get a laugh, you'll get a reaction, and they'll step on it. The laughter's going, you could just pause there. And that's part of your use of pause. Did they step on their laughs? Now, what do you think? Did John step on his laughs?
No.
He kind of has a flow about him. He kind of lets you laugh. He gets a good timing of it, which is one of, I think, his good qualities. Now, I'm going to pick on John just a little bit, because he's already been all the way up through the division contest, went to the district. My question also is, my next thing is, was there an attitude or a character that they had about it? Now, if you watch professional comedians, they have kind of an edge or an attitude of being somebody. But I ask myself as a speaker, who am I willing to be to get laughs? I'm not so sure I want to be many of the characters that professional comedians are to get a laugh. I don't want to pretend that I'm broke and out of luck and everything doesn't go my way, kind of a sad sack character. But if it's a humorous speech, you can do whatever you want. John kind of has a character there. If you've seen his other speech, that's a very similar character to what you're playing in the other one. So it's a particular character that John has. I was thinking about also what Victor Brodsky's told to us. He said, act out the story. I'm watching to see if people are acting out the story. Are they motioning? Are they doing those kinds of things? Because that brings out the humor as well. On content, I asked the question, was it topical? Did it have something to do with today? There was a topic I think that anybody could have used today. It has been pouring cats and dogs this past week. Anytime along the line, we could have talked about humor. Had I been doing a speech, I'm sure I would have integrated something about the rain, and I'm sure you would have laughed. You're not laughing. You're supposed to be laughing at this point. No, you're not laughing.
We're laughing on the inside.
You're laughing on the inside. Excellent. In fact, I'm going to deviate to a point since you made that point for me. Remember the other thing when I'm talking about audience, people react differently. You can't say, I gave a joke and, you know, you were the only one that laughed. Nobody else laughed. It was a bomb. It was a joke. People react differently. Remember Jack Nicklaus made this point to us, because I listened to everyone who came to speak to us. He said you're looking for a reaction. It may be a smile. It may be a nod. It doesn't mean they're all going to be a belly laugh. You've probably never seen me belly laugh, because that's just not my style. I'm more a serious businessman. I don't laugh at anything. But looking for the reactions. Some people laugh all the time. I have 2 secretaries at work. One, I can tell a story, she'll laugh every time. The other one won't laugh no matter what I say. Same story, same delivery. So I practice on those 2 different people. So you're watching the audience, or they're watching their reactions. Is it also appropriate to the audience? And when you're talking about laughs and stepping on, when we do the video, if you go back and watch yourself, that's when you can really see, oh, I stepped in and laughed. They laughed here. I didn't think they would. They laughed more than I thought. Because your perception being up here and your perception of being out there are different. One thing that I think John does a really great job on is localizing and personalizing stories. Because a lot of times you'll tell a story, 2 guys walked into a bar. Well, who cares about 2 guys walking into a bar? You know, I walked it. So John tells us stories about when he was on the treadmill. I don't believe half the things that actually happened to John. But he's taking a piece, he's putting himself in it, so you do a great job of that. Look, making it personal. It's a personal. So talent personal, even though you know you're going to talk about the treadmill and other things like that. And so I think you do a good job of that, and you had a lot of humor right in the middle there where you mix that around and then you get a little bit serious at the end, which is fine for that type of a speech.